Another Aaron Rodgers Tuesday has come to us in a beautiful fashion. This week, it comes after a massive dub, okay? Massive dub. Slicing, dicing the Houston Texans. He and Davante Adams almost had 200 yards together, bunch of touchdowns, celebrations. Life is good. Is he on right now? Ladies and gentlemen, alongside an incredible man who's won a national championship and a Super Bowl, AJ Hawk. The man joining us in the middle after a big dub. Just days after learning that defenses had his offense figured out, he went out and did the same damn thing he was doing for the first month and some days to begin this season. Ladies and gentlemen, number 12, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, there we go.
Did you hear everything that just happened? We just went ape shit in here for you.
No, I just blacked out. I blacked out, and I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, come on. Do you want us to do it? We could do this from the jump if you'd like. We don't have time. Let's get to it.
Have AJ do it. Have AJ.
Actually. Hey, by the way, Mason jar, real crowd pleaser. Last week, whenever you were drinking out of that, I'm a big fan of that move. Is that just what your kitchen is? Just a bunch of mason jars and paper plates and stuff like mine?
No, and it's vodka, by the way.
Oh! Could you imagine him right now? Aaron Rodgers is potentially dealing with an alcohol problem on a Tuesday. Or let's talk about the game. Immediately after the game, you were asked about Davante Adams, and you said something to, Davante and I talked before the game. And we knew or something, there was some conversation that was had, and you guys knew. It seemed like you two were able to do whatever the hell you wanted on Sunday with the Texans. Did you know that going in, and what was that conversation with Davante like?
No, I don't think we knew that going in. I think it was more just a feeling that based on Aaron Jones being out and Bakhtiari not playing, and obviously their offense having so much success last week against Tennessee, I just felt like we were going to have a big game. And it's just what happens sometimes. You're sitting in the locker room. It's strange. I mean, that locker room had, the plexiglass up between every single locker, so you don't really see guys' faces. So I wasn't quite sure where he was at, but just sent him a little reminder that I was going to need him in a big way, and I felt really good about things. He obviously felt the same way. I just think it's important sometimes to remind star receivers. I used to do this with Jordy Nelson all the time, just to be patient. I think especially in a game where you got to make plays, you're expecting to make plays, just to have patience with the way things go, because you got to get in the game and see how teams are playing. Now, thankfully for Tay, we got off to a really good start in the beginning, got him a touchdown on the first drive. But we had a couple real subtle adjustments in the game that really made the stats look better. He's such a talented guy. I mean, he does so much. A couple times he was so damn wide open, you just trying to not miss him with the ball. But him and I have been in a really good groove. And 2 days ago was just kind of the culmination of a really good week of practice and good communication, even on an hour before the game.
Hey, Aaron, can it sometimes hinder a quarterback if you have a stud receiver that you are thinking like, hey, I got to go to this guy? And I only bring this up because their whole Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr. situation, Dan Orlovsky actually explained it very well, I think, on whatever NFL Live he was on. He said sometimes he saw Matt Stafford get in this situation with Calvin Johnson, like, hey, I got to, in your mind, like, all right, I got to make sure I push the ball to Calvin, but then it kind of takes away you being able to go through your progressions. And then when he's out, you can kind of free up and see everything. Is that a real thing?
I don't know. I don't think any quarterback looks at it like that. I really don't. I just think that's the wrong way to play. If you are, there's a difference in my opinion between
forcing outside pressure, though, Aaron. Think about, like, you don't have pressure, but if you're a lower stature quarterback, they're going to want you to throw to this stud they brought in.
I see what you're saying, Agent, and I'm not saying it's not a real thing.
You're stupid, AJ. I'll say it. You go on with your answer. I'm sorry about that.
But look, there's a reason that guy is that guy. It's because he's probably open a lot, and open to a Calvin Johnson, in his heyday was different than most receivers, and open for Odell is different for most receivers, and open for Davante. I just think that there's certain guys who just have that special star quality, like Julio. So you do feed them, intentionally sometimes, because they have usually a bigger catch radius. They have the ability to run more routes. So I don't think you're really necessarily fighting that. I just think whether you're not in the rhythm yet or not in the groove yet, or you guys need a spark, those are the type of guys that you want to go to in those situations. Now, we started off hot and kind of kept it going the entire game, but there's been times in my career where I need a play, and it happened in the Super Bowl. I felt like we were just a little bit off. I was maybe running a little high emotionally, and we called a screen pass on 3rd and 1, and I alerted the go route outside of Jordy Nelson for a touchdown, and that settled me down. I think it settled our offense down, and we went on to win the game. So sometimes you do make subtle adjustments, and people might say it's forcing, and for the offense and for yourself, it's a way to kind of settle into a groove, because those guys are so talented.
By the way, shout out to you just calling your own play in the Super Bowl, saying I need to throw a deep ball here. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I wish I would have done that in the Super Bowl. It would have been cool if I just looked out at the gunner and said, "Hey, fucking go, pal." That would have been beautiful. Would have been a magical moment, and maybe that's why you are you and I am me. You said that maybe you're a bit high emotionally or whatever. It is because we always see you laughing. It always seems like you're laughing, having a great time. Is that a conscious effort by you? Like, I am a better me whenever I'm having a good time? Because for me, it was like whenever I was like either super focused or something like that, I would overthink it or whatever. I had to be very relaxed. Was that something that you kind of realized about yourself?
Well, Pat, I just think it's the moment in the Super Bowl, and we all played and won. It's just a different feeling. The emotions are higher, the adrenaline's going, the nerves are higher, and you kind of just want to get that first, big play to settle everything in, I think. And we had taken a couple shots and missed them, and I just felt like, we had press coverage on him and liked the matchup and just wanted to at least give it a look. And based on his initial release, he was probably going to be a yard or two on top, and hit him in a good spot, and the rest is kind of history there. But I just think it doesn't matter. I'm in my 16th season. We always need that kind of first play to get settled into the game. Whether it's a deep throw or taking a little shot, or getting outside the pocket and running. There's always that play that kind of settles you into the game. Less nerves, I think, the older you get, because you're more used to it. But if you don't have nerves out there, I think you need to maybe focus in and realize it's game time.
I always thought I was mentally weak because I felt that even like whenever I was at the top, when I was doing very well, I mean, what Johnny Hekker did last night might be the new top of everything, whatever. That was unbelievable. But whenever I would go out there for the first time, even whenever I knew I was nervous, like I would get like a little bit, not nervous, but like I was like anxious to get the first one. I'm like, man, what a mentally weak son of a bitch you are. It turns out everybody does. That's good news, by the way. I just learned something about me that I'm not. So I appreciate you saying what you just said right
now. You can write that in your dream journal later.
Yeah, I'll write that down. I don't suck. That's good news. I'm not a mentally weak guy. That's great news for me.
Hey, Aaron, what about that? So that play to Jordy, you say 3rd and 1 screen called. I don't know if you're not confirming or denying that you agree with that call on the screen, but let's say you throw it out there to Jordy and you don't connect. What's that conversation like on the sideline?
Big Mike.
It's one of those things where you better make it work if you're going to do that. And, there's times in all games like that. You have to understand the consequences and trust your instincts. We had multiple plays in the game against Houston. This happens all the time, where you make subtle adjustments and you make it work, or you must have a good reason why you did something. I think the beauty in play caller quarterback relations is there has to be trust. There has to be trust coming in to execute the play called, and trust that if I see something that it's, in my opinion, what's going to put us in the best situation. Like the touchdown to Devontae, where he absolutely smoked him off the line. That was an adjustment that actually went back to a conversation from earlier in the season with Devontae. I believe we were playing Detroit, and we talked about a route adjustment versus press when he was number 2 in the slot in a two-man stack. And in the moment, I saw the alignment. I didn't necessarily expect the safety to go double weak like he did, away from Devontae, but I made just a subtle little adjustment to Darius and to Devontae, and obviously Devontae smoked them off the line and created about 6 yards separation, and I underthrew him by about 4 yards, so I still gave him a 2-yard window to break free.
Smart.
But there has to be trust there from coach to me, and also understanding when is a good time to do that, and when is time to kind of go through your progression and trust the nature of the play.
The risk-reward factor is an ultimate balance that you have to do, I guess, and everything, especially whenever it comes to your relationship with LaFleur, who a lot of people wanted you two to hate each other early, and that has kind of settled off in the conversation. But last night, it was alleged, okay, Brian Griese, I believe, said something, and you heard this, obviously. Brian Griese said something on the yeah, you did. You heard it. So Brian Griese said last night on the game that Nick Foles told him or told them that sometimes a call will come in for a play and he knows that he has no chance because he doesn't have enough time for the thing or whatever. So basically, the way Brian Griese delivered it was like, Foles told us last night that Nagy was sending some plays that he knows isn't going to work because he's not going to have enough time. And then Nagy came out and said, well, Nick Foles never told me that. And now Nick Foles has said, well, that was a misquote. But let's forget about the misquote that happens between interview of quarterback and commentator, which I'm sure there's a couple stories that you have for that, but we don't have to talk about that. Is that what the conversation you and LaFleur had this offseason, where you go through the offense and you say, like, hey, I think in this situation this happens? Like, is that the play caller quarterback relationship? You two literally have to be tied at the hip, right? And if there's any type of tension at all, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think the tension is released through the conversations, whether it's during the week, it's situational conversations about third down plays that we like. And, everything is complicated, whether overcomplicated or complicated right to the right amount. As far as the analytics part and the breaking down of each section of third down and of the field, really, we have different areas of the field where we, break down tendencies and stuff we like calling certain spots, and there has to be a conversation about all those things. And the thing I enjoy about working with Matt is, there's been a lot of great conversations throughout the off season and during the regular season about stuff that we like and why we like them, and he'll show me a clip that he likes it from, or I'll refer back to something that I like or something that I saw or something from years past on a reason that I like one play over another play. And, I think it really helps him see how I see things and vice versa. When I understand the why, it really helps. That's just kind of how I've always been as an athlete. Just understanding why we're doing things helps me kind of see the entire picture. And as quarterback, you really have to see the entire picture and understand not just the play call, but the protection, the stress points and protection, and the subtle adjustments you can make within the play, and then how to kind of go about the play to use the scheme to your advantage.
God, there's so much going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on, and pivoting off of that, Aaron, goes in line with it. I know you, in so many years of playing in Green Bay, you've had a lot of celebrities that come watch you play.
Oh, yeah.
Who are some of your favorite celebrities, maybe at away games, that you have seen that you may or may not have been catcalling certain celebrities on the sidelines during warm-ups at times?
Doing what?
I don't know. I think it needs to be more specific here.
Well,
but
Chicago
for sure. Scott
Who?
Stapp is.
Scott Stapp! Yeah, of course, Scott
I'm
Stapp.
thinking, hell yeah. I don't know if we won this game, Aaron. You'll know if we won the game.
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen. It mutes you, but no. I don't know if we won this game or not. We were in Chicago. It was a night game, and there was a certain actor. I think he had a mustache at the time, and you were very excited, and you could not stop trying to get his attention during warm-ups.
I don't know if you're talking about Vince Vaughn or Will Ferrell or.
This was Cusack.
Oh.
It was neither of those guys? You're talking about.
Cusack, John Cusack.
John Cusack, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely up there on favorite celebrities we've seen. Will Ferrell's been to a game. Kevin Durant, when we played the Redskins, he was wearing Redskin colors. But
Washington.
Kevin Durant has been at games. Anthony Davis, who's a Packers fan, has been to games. We've had the Milwaukee Bucks at various games. CeCe Sabathia, way back in the day when he was playing on kind of a rented loan contract for the Milwaukee Brewers, came to a game. Harry Styles from One Direction fame.
Oh, you know Harry Styles?
Hell.
That's your guy. That's your dude.
Love having Harry. The Jonas Brothers have been to games.
No, the Joe Bros. What?
Nick and Joe.
No.
Age was really excited to meet with Joe. I think it was right. Age.
Yeah, the oldest.
I think I met the middle one, right? The guy that sings.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah,
right.
Age is a big Shakira fan too. So he was
Really?
She was rumored to be at one of our games. I think it was in Dallas a few years ago, and I don't think she showed up. He was kind of bummed out.
That's a shame. You said all these people, and I would assume they all come talk to you, which is one of the perks of being the quarterback of the team. I would assume they all come. No, they don't. They don't talk to you. A lot of shrugs there.
You know what? Before we keep going, there's one person who's going to get really upset if I don't mention him, and that's Kevin from The Office, Brian Bumgarner.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a good friend of AJ and I's. He's been to a few games. He's a great fan. Met him years ago. Also, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about his, finish this year at Tahoe, which was his best finish of his career.
Congrats to him, Baumgartner. By the way.
Attaboy. Here you go, Kev.
Attaboy, Kev.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah, really excited for Brian. He's definitely gotten out of the Barkley groups and into kind of the more middle of the pack groups. So we're proud of him with his golfing.
You're talking about the Eddie George, Charles Barkley, AJ Hawk groups, the things that you're referring to right there, I believe, at that Lake Tahoe thing. How come you've not said Lil Wayne yet?
Yeah. Lil Wayne has been in the locker room actually post game.
What was that like? What was that like? What's Lil Wayne like in the locker room?
That was amazing. That was during our playoff run. Well, that was during 11 when we were really good. I think Age probably remembers. I think he got a picture with him. I didn't get a picture at that time, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for Green and Yellow when it comes on.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
His remix of
Black and
of
Yellow.
a Wiz Khalifa song, I believe.
Yep, you're hip. Yep, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely up to date with my rap these days.
Yeah, well, you just crushed it right there. I think you just slaughtered it. Wiz Khalifa has a couple new songs out, by the way, from Pittsburgh. Great rapper, loves marijuana. Let's go move on the conversation. Last week, do you know that? Well, you did. You were there. The reaction to your Zoom conference call, where you were asked about defenses figuring out your offense and you said 1 of 5 or whatever, the reaction was awesome. It was like, Aaron Rodgers is in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers is moody. This is what happens when Aaron Rodgers loses games. He's moody and all this. Like, it was everywhere. It was awesome to watch, by the way. Just like, as not you, it probably sucked for you to hear all this shit, but you've been hearing this for your entire life, so you're probably used to it. But for me, just watching this thing kind of catapult, because I knew I was going to get to ask you about it. When you sit there and you say something like that and you watch the world react to it, what are your immediate thoughts? Just immediate thoughts while watching.
I didn't see a lot of the reactions, to be honest, Pat. I really didn't.
You missed it. They were good.
And Tom Fanning, who's works PR with the Packers, didn't alert me to a lot of stuff going on. I will address, last Wednesday. I think it was one of the poorest set of questions that I've received all year.
Okay.
Those people got a job to do. We were 4-1, and I think I've been really good on those. And I try and be as thoughtful as possible and give them answers that that answer the question and maybe give them some insight. But I thought, some of the questions were just poor questions. So poor questions don't always get the same type of answers. And look, I know they have a job to do, and I'm not saying it's easy, but when it started off the way it started off with that question beginning the press conference, it really didn't get much better at that point.
That was the first question? I didn't know that was the first question.
Yeah, that was the first question.
Hi, Aaron. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so your offense stinks. The entire NFL figured it out. What are your thoughts on that? What a hilarious start to a conversation. That's awesome.
And it didn't get any better from there. So, no, I can't say it was everybody. I don't want to throw everybody under the bus, but there were a few good questions in there. But I'm going to talk to them tomorrow, and I know they can do better than they did last week. Right
there, you just either made somebody's day for saying that, or whoever potentially asked that question is now going to run with this and act as if, like, Aaron can't, like, that's what they're going to do to this, but you know that everything you say is going to cause a firestorm anyways.
Well, look, I don't think they should be sensitive about it. It's Mark Danos. I've known Mark for years, and I've been on his radio show and worked with him for a long time. And I think Mark does a really good job. I don't think it was a great question, but hey, you're not going to be perfect every single week. I'm sure, maybe there'll be some sensitivity. I'm guessing he'll probably ask a little better question this week. But I have nothing against Mark at all. I just didn't think it was a great question.
I respect
Well,
it.
maybe to them it was. Maybe that's what they want. They wanted a strong reaction from you.
I didn't give him a strong reaction. I just told him that 1 out of 5 teams have figured us out. So.
And then what was the next question? What was the next question? Because I enjoy interviews. Like, I enjoy them a lot. I enjoy how conversations go. Like, I think it's a very captivating thing. Whenever you start with that shot, okay, that's just a pow. All right, here we go. We're leading off with this thing. You automatically, I assume, like, oh, it's going to be one of these days. What was another follow-up question that was just like in your eyes, like, why are we framing the question in the way that we just did?
There was a lot. There was some similar ones to that where, just. To me, it was questions that didn't have even give you the opportunity to give a thoughtful answer. And I looked over at Tom a couple times during it, and I wasn't trying to be rude, but I couldn't believe what these people were asking. And again, it wasn't every single question, but it was like, come on, like you're with me every week. I can give thoughtful answers. I give them a lot of time.
Let's frame it. It's all in your framing, too. You can ask anything, I've learned. It's all in how you frame the question. You know what I mean? Like, the framing of the question is your opinion on what the answer is going to be, right? So, or what the answer should be. And it's a very interesting tactic because you can really lead people into a certain. You watch Dateline or whatever. Those investigators that are asking the questions, they just walk the person right through every fucked up thing that they did. They just walk them right through it. It's the same thing whenever you talk about a conversation. I'm excited to hear how it goes tomorrow, Chipper Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to hear how it goes over there, man.
Well, let's just wait and see if they, if Bob Demosky tries to, project onto me that I'm in a bad mood again.
By the way, is that not the most irritating thing ever? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? It seems like you're not. My wife, I'll ask her every once in a while, like, are you in a good mood or whatever? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you sure you're in a good mood? She's like, all right, now you're getting me in the bag. I'm like, all right, I'll shut the fuck up. I will walk it away, I guess. Ty, what's going on?
Aaron, last week there was an article that came out about your quarterback room over the course of your career, and I was just curious. Everyone knows you have arguably the single greatest game in Jeopardy history. Which of your backups had the toughest weekly exam, and what kind of questions were typically toughest for you?
Ooh.
Oh, man. Yeah. Matt Flynn really started doing a lot of those, making some really, really good tests. His were, about 3 football questions and then about 20 pop culture trivia questions. I have obviously a few kind of zones where I'm really good, whether it's history. When pop culture stuff, I'm pretty good with music, South Park, TV shows, movies.
What a direct genre there.
So he would really try and stump me on certain things, but he was good at tests. The thing I love that I always try to get them to do is put some fun facts on there. So do some research on the other team, the DBs. Give me some, potential trash talking material about certain guys. Maybe it's a childhood nickname that they weren't too keen on, or maybe some sort of thing that said or did that you can use against them. I'm not talking about like a mean trash talk way necessarily, but just something you could maybe rib them about during a TV timeout. That'd be fun. And I would say I used many of those little fun facts over the years, or maybe we just have some laughs on the sidelines. But every now and then you kind of throw one of those out there, and the guys be pretty surprised that that research is being done. So a big shout out to Matt Flynn and Graham Harrell. Brett Hundley was really good at him too. He kind of carried the tradition. Tim Boyle's done a really good job, and now Jordan's been doing them lately, and he's easing into it. He's still a little football heavy at this point, but.
Hey, stop taking it so serious, okay? This is not a serious. We appreciate you being dialed in, but let's get to the 8th grade report of insert name of corner here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going for. So
I heard in that same article. I didn't read the entire thing. I should have probably. I guess it sounded awesome.
I read your article.
Yeah, well,
that article, and I texted with Graham Harrell afterwards. there was some liberties taken for sure.
Okay,
That's why I didn't want to read it, by the way, because I didn't want to, I heard you're a bad flip cup player. That makes no sense at all because with how good you are at throwing a football.
Again, that's a total lie. Graham Harrell had no idea how to play flip cup.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I figured.
What he's talking about.
All right, I heard that because I didn't read the article. I don't do a lot of the reading. Okay, which isn't something to brag about. Okay, kids, read your books. I never have, but read your books. And I was given some information because we're a big flip cup town where we come from, big flip cup town. It's the best drinking game. It brings the entire place to its feet. Beer pong, you only got 2 people performing. You go 7-on-7 with flip cup. It can be an electric atmosphere. It's always been my favorite drinking game. And whenever I heard that you were terrible at it, I was so bummed. I don't think I was bummed for like 20, 25 minutes, didn't leave my office. And now I'm very happy to hear that that's not the case.
I'm thankful you got out of there, man. Your spirits
lifted.
Came up. You got back to your trash talking about wrestling that I saw earlier. I'm excited to see what happens with that. I thought maybe you're going to call out AJ to be a partner of yours and get him involved. He's long wanted to follow in the footsteps of his heroes like Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's done probably as many drugs as those guys. So.
a lot better if I did.
We always wondered, Aaron. We always wondered. Hey, did you get a chance to, before we let you go, you're so generous with your time, by the way, and we can't did you get a chance to watch any of Letterman's new conversations on Netflix? He talked to Kanye. I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts on that conversation.
I haven't seen it yet, and I did see this week. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. And I saw
he also talked to Kanye.
Podcast. Yeah. So I haven't seen it yet. It's definitely on my watch list. I did get to watch Borat too.
Ooh.
How was it?
What was your thoughts on it?
Have you guys seen it yet?
No. Not yet.
A lot of my teammates and a couple coaches who saw it said it was better than Borat 1. Now, also, 2006, a lot of those people were, even some of the coaches were probably in high school or middle school or elementary school. I was not. I was, in the NFL at 22. I loved Borat 1. I thought Borat 2 was really, really funny. Not as funny as the first one.
Oh, wow. What a review right here of Borat.
But I mean, look, but it's not a knock on Borat 2. Borat 1 just was so ridiculous, and I'm a fan of the Ali G show from way back.
Way back. Oh, yeah. Way back.
So I just thought, it was tough because Borat the character is so well known. Even when they showed him Borat 2, like people recognized him on the street. Obviously he's wearing the same gray suit, but and then I hadn't seen this yet, but I went back and watched the first episode of Who Is America?
Oh yeah, his other show.
What's that? That is.
And the first episode is unbelievable.
Hey, Sacha Baron Cohen, he did this interview, or he wrote something. He just typed out something as himself, and he talked about how his genre of comedy is something that can showcase and the realities of certain things or whatever. He has to be so fearless, that guy. He has to be. He told a story about how he wrote in that thing, and I think we've seen it, where he was at a rodeo or a fight of some sort, and him and his ex-boyfriend, and he said chairs were getting thrown at him. He had to get rushed out of a back. He has to be one of the most fearless humans in entertainment world.
And that was in Bruno. That was when he had that gay scene with down in the Deep South when they were wrestling. I mean, and I talked to a guy who was a producer on the Borat movie, when he sang the Kazakhstan anthem at the rodeo. They surrounded the bus and they weren't going to let him leave. They wanted him to get out of the bus. They wanted to, beat the hell out of him. So.
Like what Indomitian Sue wants to do to you. You know what I mean?
I think we're on okay terms at this point. But I mean, Sacha is his comedy is it's pretty incredible what he's able to get away with, and I think a lot of times he goes after the same type of people. It's just amazing that when you look it up, because you're watching this, especially last night. We watch this and I'm like, there has to be actors, right? Some of these people have to be actors. Like, it cannot be But then you go back and look, and these people are like normal people. Now he figures out ways to fool them into thinking that this is a real event they're doing or whatever. But it's still amazing that, some of the views and ideals of some of these people that he's able to dupe.
Yeah, humans. Interesting species.
Final thing for me, I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen what's getting at a bunch of pub. What was Rudy Giuliani doing when he untucked his shirt?
Yeah. What is that? That was all over the internet.
That's all I hear about the movie. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, he was doing an interview with what he thought was a young journalist, and it's
in a hotel room.
It's Borat's daughter in the movie, right? And the whole premise is that he's, in order to get out of the work camp that he's been put in, because Borat embarrassed the country, he has to make this like grand gesture to someone in America. So he was bringing the minister of something. I don't know if it was film or whatever. And
Wait, is this spoilers right here?
It was a monkey. No, this is in the trailer.
Okay.
He was bringing a monkey to America to give the monkey away to Mike Pence or something. So when all this stuff didn't work out, then he, is going to give his daughter away, and Rudy thinks it looked like he's taking off his mic pack maybe, but there was some there's some weird things said. You just got to watch it for yourself.
All right, can't wait to watch it. That sounds great. Mr. Rodgers, why have you not watched Ted Lasso yet?
Yes.
And how does that not make it into your time when you're not watching film? By the way, we know you watch film all the time, and maybe you just put other stuff on to go to sleep at night or whatever. I don't know how you haven't watched that yet, honestly.
There's a new show out, a new trivia show. It's a new old show called The Weakest Link.
Oh, goodbye.
Yeah.
So I've seen a couple episodes of that. Other than that, I haven't really watched any TV besides last night watching a little bit of Borat.
Hey, is it not Borat, by the way?
I don't know. You tell me.
You're the fan. I don't know. You did a critical acclaim of fucking both of them there. I don't know. I think it's Borat. I think.
Okay.
No, it might be Borat. You're smarter than I am. When you go on Jeopardy, you did the Jeopardy thing. And Ty, what did you say? He had the high score of all the best game?
Arguably the greatest single game performance of all time.
Will you ever go on just normal human Jeopardy? Well, not normal. That's because that's like the nerd Super Bowl, right? Do you think you could perform well against the Jeopardy Jameses and all them?
Well, not against him. No, he's
dumb.
him and Ken Jennings are the two best players of all time.
Amen.
James rewrote the whole strategy on how to play. I mean, he put people away in the beginning by going for the biggest clues and then doubling his money, and then his ability, he's just such a savant, like the ability to like figure out wagers on daily doubles in order to get them right and equal dates that would correspond to important events in his life. I mean, that to me, it was unbelievable. I wish I think he's a Chicago Bears fan, which I don't hold it against him because he's a Jeopardy hero. But no, I couldn't compete against him or Ken Jennings. I think some of the other, when there's not one of those type of players on there, I think I could maybe do okay. But I probably do better against celebrities.
Against me and AJ. That makes a lot of sense. We're dumb. You're smart. You're athletic. You're great. Good luck this weekend. You're going to play fantastic.
Thanks, guys. I always enjoy seeing you. Ty, especially you, buddy.
You buried him last week. You buried him last week.
Hey, guess what? Got to get better.
And you did, by the way.
Gotta get better.
And you did.
That's right.
Hey.
He's been trying to show that off all show,
shirt,
by the way.
I don't know what that is.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
America wasn't ready, baby.
Hey, Aaron, do you think? So I know Pat didn't notice. I noticed that your camera angle was slouching lower and lower. As I was trying to go this whole talk without mentioning your shirt because you've been trying to shoehorn into this conversation. I love Chuck though.
I don't know anything about him.
I put on this shirt just for this interview, and I just wanted one little recognition for Carlos. He's a Northern California guy. He's a legend. He's in Silent Rage, one of the greatest movies of all time, and Expendables.
Yeah.
I just think we need to give him his due right now.
I have no idea who you guys are talking about, but somebody does.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, I know Walker, Texas Ranger. He fucked over Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball. That guy. I remember him. Yeah, fuck
That's what you
Fuck you,
remember.
Chuck
That's all
Norris.
you remember from him.
Yeah, that's it right there, pal.
Thanks a lot.
Some roundhouse kicks, huh?
Yeah. By the way, Kondo is a zillion twice or something like Infinity twice. I remember all that, but I don't know much about him. Ben Stiller is your favorite actor? Yeah, you like Ben Stiller a lot. Have you ever met him?
I love Ben Stiller. He's great.
You just know everybody, huh? Your phone is just like, boom, I'm one text away from insert name of world leader here. I know this person. Is that what it's like to be Aaron Rodgers?
I'm 1 degree of separation from a lot of really cool people, yourself included, Pat.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Aaron.
Love you, Aaron.
Good luck this weekend, bub.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, those questions better come correct tomorrow from that fucking media. I'll tell you what.
At least start better.
Did you hear that, AJ?
Who's asking the first one? That person's got to be nervous already.
It is real, though. Sometimes those reporters, and I'm not saying everybody, obviously in every single profession there's a couple people, that are give a bad image to said whatever, or maybe just have a bad day and ask a bad question. But there's some of those press conferences, and now there's Zoom calls or whatever, where somebody will ask a question, they won't get the answer they want. So they continue to ask another question, get forceful. It's like you ask the question, that's how it works. You ask a question, you get an answer. Now report off of the answer. And if your spin zones, by the way, is he's in a bad mood, he gave us this. Okay, do that. But whenever, and I didn't get to watch that entire one. But whenever those things become like give and take time, it's like I love that. I'm like, I wish I had enough gutsack to walk in there and be like, hey, why do you suck? And they go, well, we don't. Oh, is that right? Well, I was sitting at home and I was in the stadium and I thought you did. Like I love that is a mentality for some of them. And now, by the way, those make the best clips. So I assume that they're trying to get situations like
We
that.
saw it on Hard Knocks with Jalen Ramsey, and they tried to ask about his contract, and then he just said, you know what, they're going to get that done. And then they asked him again, and he decided to walk away from the interview.
Listen, I'm trying to do the right thing here. You hear me doing that? That's the way this whole thing goes. This isn't like a sit-down conversation here. It's interesting because the media people also they hear conversations like this happen, and they read tweets and see videos from people, and they're like, oh, the conversations you say, how come we can't do that with us, or how come we can't, or whatever, Like you can see how the media people get pissed off as well. It's kind of a give and take, but it's not their show. It's the human that's talking.
Do you think any of it has to do with with the athletic now? Like guys will work at a certain team and then they'll just bounce and go work for another team and then another team. So it's like it's almost like they don't build any kind of relationships or rapport with the actual players because it's just it is just a job.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, because you have no feeling toward the player.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you stunk. Have a good one. You want to talk about it or no? Okay.
Trying to work. Don't you think a lot of them are trying to work their way up to get a national gig? So you don't have that time invested with that coaching staff, those players. It's more like baseball. They have so much access. Football, the media doesn't have nearly as much access, I think, as other sports.
Yeah, I think you're right though too. And if you want to make a name, not saying everybody, by the way, there's great local writers everywhere. We're not saying that, but it feels like there's always somebody that's, I don't want to say trying to make a name for themselves, but maybe that's their thing, by the way. And there's a lot of people that have become famous for doing that. So that's their thing. But boy, I'm happy I never had to do any of those.